Hey, I don't think we're, oh, maybe we are right. It's hard to tell. YouTube's changed their streaming stuff so much lately that it's been really, really challenging to figure this out a little bit. I think we got it though. I think we're here. Anyways, just for grins, let's start over in case you didn't catch it. But yeah, so I've got a quick project to do, and I thought I would take you along with it, show you how I do some of these things. I know this wasn't planned, so we'll see who actually shows up or not. But anyways, let's go ahead and get going. I think. Oh, hey, we do have some people. Hey, guys. Awesome. Let me pop out the chat window here so I can try and keep some of these things going while I'm doing my stream here. All right. So let me see. Yeah, so let's talk about what we're going to do. Looks like everything's going. So basically, I think most of you know this. Anybody who is familiar with my channel knows that I do a lot of work for other fabricators. You can kind of see, let's see, it's over here. Kind of see over here, got the plasma cam sitting over there. And so a lot of times I cut parts for other fabricators instead of just doing all the fabrication myself. It's kind of nice. Works out pretty well. Lets me, it's cardboard aided design, David. It lets me focus on what I want to do too. I love doing fabrication, but I'm one of these things where the other CNC work is starting to take up more of my time. So I'm often presented with stuff like this. And he basically said, hey, can you make something like this for me? I know it's for a hinge, right? So there's a through hole here. Basically what it does is it attaches, there's a little cross member that goes across here. It attaches. I've actually made the brackets for this as well. Welds in place on this side, and then when it opens, it pivots the whole lid, right? The whole top will pivot up, right? A couple of things. We wanted to have a few mounting points that we can use to adjust things, and then thought, hey, you know what? Why don't we just make, we joke around about our lightning holes, right? It's going on a vehicle, so we've got a pattern in here. So things that I note right away when I'm looking at this. The first is that it's kind of lumpy and stuff like that. Talk to him about it. So yeah, go ahead, smooth things out. That's fine. Critical dimensions are this part here, which is actually called out. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's 3/4 of an inch, right? So we know this dimension is 3/4 of an inch. And if I measure it, hey, it's not really 3/4 of an inch. And so found out about it. The cardboard is right. So the original was 3/4 of an inch, and he did a bigger size. So what I came up with on that size is 1 1/8, right? So, wow, lots of folks joining. Cool. It's nice to see everybody too. Scott, Tools for Machines, Texas. I hope you're doing all right in Texas there. I hope your dad's okay too. Your folks. Craig. Oh, hey, Craig. We got Dave Fairbanks. Guy. Oh, hey, Guy. How's it going? Duncan. Dude, isn't it late? No, I guess it's not that late. Okay. Anyways, so first step for me. Here's my trick. Flat black spray paint. So on the back side of this, I did flat black spray paint. Let it dry. Throw it in the scanner. Because what this is doing is it's giving me something to work from. I don't have to try and measure everything and get things just right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that scan and a proportion, so I know what the size should be to make the part in Fusion. Zach, oh hey, how's it going, bud? So let me see. I've got Fusion up. Let me get that going. Let's do my screen. It's always the fun part is when I get that. I miss having multiple monitors. I need to get a second monitor for here, but I don't have it at this point. But yeah, I kind of miss that. So cool. Checking everything out. So hey guys, All right, just making sure I got everything. So here we are. We're in Fusion. We've got the latest update. If you didn't have it would tell you here, right? Just word to the wise. So first step, I always start by, before I even have everything done, I'm going to save it. What am I going to call this? Well, in this case, this is a hinge. So I saved it. Why is this important? Well, now Fusion's going to start doing its autosave and auto recovery routine. Okay, so first thing I do, save my work. If anything ever goes wrong, I'll have some sort of backup in place. Next thing, just good rule of thumb, even though this is going to be a single piece, I'm going to make it a component right now. So rather than just doing things, I'm going to say new component. So I right clicked on here, new component. It's in here, it's made it active. You notice the activate components here. And if I look, here's all my stuff. So I'm working in this component now. We're going to make a sketch. And we'll put that sketch on this background. You notice everything's within the component. So that kind of gets us started. All right, I'll even finish this. No, well, maybe not. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a canvas. All right, so canvas is going to give me something to look at while I draw. And you notice in the pop-up, it kind of shows you, it's got this picture and then they're drawing the silhouettes and everything based on what they're seeing in the picture. So we're going to insert this canvas. Insert from my computer. We'll grab it off my desktop. There's the hinge. So this is that file I scanned. Where are we going to put it? We're going to put it here, right? It wants to know a little bit about where we want to, where to put it. And I'm just going to say okay. Now I can do some rotation if I need to, things like that. But I'm just going to go ahead and say okay. Now obviously this is not right. It's, if I inspect this right now, if I were to just click from, it won't even let me. I don't know if I can even inspect a canvas. Yeah, it won't even let me inspect anything. Too small. But realistically, it's not right. But what we know is, we know that this part here across is 1 1/8. We measured that. So if we come into the canvases, and I right click on this canvas, I can calibrate. Calibrate is going to be the important part, right? So if I press calibrate, it wants to know where. And we said that from here to here is our calibration. And notice that's coming in at 93 thou. Not quite. 1.125. Enter. Oh, you notice now it's a little bigger. This part is going to be really important for us. Okay. Let's stop here for a second. I'll bring up my chat window somewhere. Anything going on? Can't smell me. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nothing new. All right. So now it's a simple trace operation for most of this. I'm going to, we'll do the simple things. You can press L for line, or you can click on the line tool. And let's just go for our easy ones. We know that this is pretty much a straight line from here to here, right? And then I can go, it's pretty much a straight line to here. And then if I do it again, starting from here, it's pretty much a straight line. Let's say our arc starts about here. Okay, so we know that that part's there. I can also put a circle in here. It's right about here, right about to there, right? So we know that circle's there. And then from here on out, what I do is I use what is it called? The spline. I guess it's already up here. That's why I wasn't seeing it. So now in this one, the closer you put your points, the more control you have. So if I click here to start, and I start way over here, you'll notice it's like, well, where's it going? Right? Kind of big. So what I do is I basically just trace around it. So I click here. You notice my snap comes on when I come to that. I click, and then I'm just real closely. Now here we know we cut a little close on that part, so that's not right. And I'm just a little at a time following my way around here until I get to that point, and I'm going to snap it on the circle and say, okay, I'm going to repeat this process. I'll zoom in a little bit. I'll repeat this process for the other side, right? So now I'm here and basically just kind of following it along. Nothing too crazy. And I'm not liking that part of it, but we'll fix it. All right, so now that I've got this in place, what this lets me do is I can, at any point, I can grab a point and I can move the point around. Right? I can also, if I click on the arc, it'll let me adjust the different points in the arc. And I know it's kind of tough to see, but if I were to grab this and start twisting, you notice how it changes my arc. I can stretch it out. I can make it narrower. But in general, this one's pretty close. If you look at the original, when I highlight it, you look at the original versus what's here, it's actually pretty darn close. This one's a little off. Right, so I might want to pull this point in a little bit, and we'll move this point in a little bit as well. And then let's flatten that out a little bit. Whoa, too much. We'll pull that in some more. Okay. I think my circle got moved. Okay. Same thing here. Not real happy with that. We'll soften this curve up a little bit. We'll move this point a little. You notice how as you move the points, your lines are changing as well. Not sure I like how sharp these points are, but we can deal with that later on. Now, the other thing that we want to do on this is, remember, we've got all our holes. So let's use that same spline tool, and I'm going to start from the midpoint here, and I'm basically just going to follow the midpoint. You're roughly where the middle of this is the whole way around. And that one needs to move a little bit. Grab that, straighten that one out a little bit. That's not bad. This part will become more important in a little bit. You'll see why in just a minute. So, in fact, let's make that, it is a construction line. We'll finish our sketch. So at this point now I've got a sketch. I can turn the canvas off. I've got my sketch for my part here. It's not looking that bad. And I know these circles are supposed to be 1/2 inch. Actually, let's do that. We can cheat a little bit here. We know that we've got a circle here, and it's a 1/2 inch circle. No, it's not 1/2 inch, sorry. And that's supposed to be 3/8. Is that right? What am I doing? Look at my notes. 1/4 inch. Okay. It's a 1/4 inch, but he wants them on a 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch pattern. Okay, so let's finish our sketch. So we've got this in place. Everything is there. We can just do Q or press pull, select those, and then this is 1/4 inch material. So here's our basic outline. Now we'll do some smoothing and stuff like that to clean it up, but that's the basics of this part. If we look at it, here it is. We'll turn our sketch back on here. Let me just take a quick look at chat. Has anything come in? No. Scott, looking for a program that let you draw a part and then print out a template to trace. I would say Inkscape is probably the best bet for you on that one. It's a free tool, so just gonna. Okay, yeah, I think that one's probably gonna do you really well. So let's try something. There is this really neat tool here. I think I actually have to go back to my sketch and do this. Nope, pattern on path. We're going to use a feature it's not going to let me do it because I did that as a... I shouldn't have done it that way. Okay. Well, let's go back. Fine. We'll do this a little differently. We'll create a hole. And we're going to create this hole at a point. And I'm just going to set it here for now. Whoa, that's really off, but that's okay. We'll snap it over. There's our point. Straighten up, sorry. There, it'll look a little better now. All right, so there it is. It's going all the way through. We want this to be 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so now I've got a feature. And we'll use it's over here. It's actually here, but pattern on path. So we are going to select a feature, and we'll select this hole here. And the path we're going to select is this guy. And we want to do a spacing. And this distance is 1/2 inch. Start point 0, spacing, direct. And then how many do we want to do? So we can just start adding more. And you notice, I don't know if you guys can see it, but we're starting to see these check marks, right? So let's zoom out just a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. And I can, without even knowing how many I need to do, I can just start putting them in until they don't fit anymore. 19, 20 is too close to the edge. So we get 19 of them. Click OK. Boom. There's our holes. Just like that. Really, really neat trick. Turn my sketch back off. I've got my visibility settings here a little different, but let's just do visible edges only. Looks a little cleaner. All right, so this is the basics. Anytime I do a part like this, I'm going to make sure that I don't have sharp edges on it. We'll give it, let's say 0.1 on that. You know what? Maybe we can, I don't know if it's going to let me clean up that edge a little bit too, soften that up. Might do a bigger edge on that one. Let's take that out. So we can add in another one here. Let's make that 0.5. Yeah, smooths that out a little bit. It's not bad. That's looking all right. It's not perfect, but it gets us pretty close. Again, on this one, I know it's just gonna be plasma cut, and some of the smoothing things that I do in the plasma cutter will clean up some of the, the wonky edges and stuff like that. I can spend the time to do it in here, or I can do it there. What's nice about doing it there is I just say, hey, soften this edge by a certain amount, and it just automatically does it for me. So it's all about knowing which tool to use. Yeah, so the last step for me then would be to create a new sketch. I'm going to put it on the top of my body here, and then I'm going to project. So P for project, or you can come into create and project, include. So we're going to project, and you can choose either geometry, or sorry, you can either select what you want to project, or you can use the whole body. In this case, I know I'm going to use the body, so I'm going to switch to the body. I'm just going to select that. It's projecting all the geometry for me. It is also linked. So if I make any changes, it's going to automatically update this sketch for me. Now what's important about this sketch is my final that I'm going to export to my plasma cutter, right? So it's got these features that aren't in the original sketch, right? If all we did was the original sketch, it wouldn't have everything that we need. It wouldn't have all the holes and everything else. So I get to the end of my design and I make a new sketch. And if you right click on that sketch and you save as DXF, where do I want to put it? We'll just put it on the desktop for now. Actually, I typically use Dropbox, and it synchronizes to the computer that runs the plasma cutter, and I'm good to go. So we'll just call this hinge. It knows it's DXF type, and save it. And that's it. I should have finished the sketch first, but it works. So that's it. That's my whole workflow for something like this. I can turn the sketch off. But yeah, when I get requests to go from cardboard aided design to computer aided design, this is the process that I use. I'm gonna save this. I probably should have saved it before, but that's the basics on doing this. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Uh, you know, for some things, especially where they're kind of hidden parts and things, you can get away with this. For other stuff, I would probably get a little more, um, a little more anal about how I did it. Like, I would probably make sure that the spacing, like, so the distance was actually the same all the way around this arc. I would make sure that my spacing is exactly in the middle. I'd use an offset, right, to make sure that all those things are right. In this case, I knew, because I know where this part's going and what it's going to be used for. None of that matters. It really doesn't, because it's just going to get welded in place. The important part on this one is that if anything ever happens to it, we can make it again. So we save these files and move on. Yeah, so let's see. Let's switch back to camera view. Assume the check mark means you can skip a hole. Yes, that's correct, David. And that's for any of the patterns. So let's say you were doing a 6-hole pattern and a circular pattern, but there was a feature in one area where you really only needed 5, but the spacing was based on a 6-hole pattern. You just deselect the ones that you didn't want to do. You can do great big patterns, your grid patterns, and then deselect certain ones because there's other features in the way or things like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so just a quick one. Guys, I wish I could stay on longer today, but this was I thought this was just kind of it was a target opportunity to just knock it out and get it done and take you guys with me, on that trip. I hope this helps somebody either now or in the future. And thanks again for watching. I do appreciate it. And I will have a new video out soon, I hope. Let's see. Oh, sorry, Dan. Fusion 360. Okay. Yeah. So I will have a new video out soon. I might shoot some video of making this part. I don't know. I mean, to be perfectly upfront, I've already made the part, but I think I've got some video for it. I've got some other stuff going on here shortly. Got some updates to do soon too. Give everybody an update on what's going on. Yeah, you can really see the mess over here. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I have a lawnmower over here. I'm doing some work on that, but I gotta get to making some parts. I gotta run the lathe today. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you again real soon.